I think the nomination process certainly has a negative effect on the coverage of cities because while presidential candidates are raising substantial amounts of money in cities, they are spending it in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and in South Carolina. And those cities are different than our urban areas. Their focus of their economies is agriculture. They have town squares where the focus in cities is different. So it disproportionately shapes the debate. It disproportionately places the focus on areas of the country where fewer people live, where the majority of our citizenry does not live, where the majority of the revenue that is generated in our country does not come from. And I think that has had a profoundly negative impact on how the presidential debate has been shaped for many years in this country. I think the Electoral College process should be changed to focus more on urban areas. As I've indicated, when you look at the largest 100 urban areas in this country, they represent only 12% of the land area of the country, but they are 65% of the population, 75% of our gross domestic product, and they provide 68% of the employment in this country. So it is critical that the focus of the Electoral College also be shifted to urban states. If you look at the riots that took place in this country in the 60s and the flight that took place from our cities, at that time, urban issues have definitely become synonymous with poverty, with minorities, whether it is African Americans or Hispanics. And I think that has negatively shaped how urban issues are discussed, debated, and looked at in the country. I think one of the helpful things that is happening, that is beginning to shift the focus, is there are now suburban communities that are experiencing some of the traditional urban problems of crime and poverty. And because of that, they are coming more into a level where those issues are also important in the suburban communities. The other question for me is, do parties really focus on their bases, or are they more focused on suburban voters that they have targeted as swing voters, which also moves them away from a focus on urban issues? I don't know why more mayors aren't running for president. I know in the city of Buffalo, we have a wonderful example of a mayor who ran for president and was successful, Grover Cleveland. This election, on the Republican side, we do have a former mayor, Rudolph Giuliani, who is running for president, and obviously he's doing extremely well in the polls and extremely well in the electoral process at this point. So I think that he might be a catalyst for more mayors looking at how well he's doing and saying to themselves, I bring a lot of executive experience, I bring a lot of understanding of the issues that are important to this country, and I could run for president and I could potentially be successful in doing so. Well, I think economic development and opportunity is very important to people in my city and something that people want to hear the presidential candidates talking about. Urban areas are so critically important to our American economy that more federal investment should be in those urban areas, not only for the benefit of people who live in the urban areas, but for the benefit of the entire nation. One of the areas that has been substantially cut at the federal level is the Community Development Block Grant Program that provides provided resources for economic development, removal of slum and blight, the ability to help people become homeowners. From 2001 to present in the city of Buffalo, my city, we have lost over $5 million from the block grant program. Overall, the block grant program has been very significantly cut by 15% in the last 2 years, and mayors around the country are calling for a doubling of the block grant program to about $8 billion.